turn it over to Caitlin. Everybody give it up for Caitlin. Hello. So thank you so much for coming to the Webisode panel. We have some really, really exciting web series for you to see today. I'm going to one by one introduce the panelists, and then I'm going to let them show you their own teasers and kind of give you a background to their production and what you're about to see. So starting closest to me, we have Andrea, Kelley, and Katherine Hoagland from
Hello.
Diary
Hello,
of a Teenage Nobody. So do you guys want to maybe let us know what we're about to see? Give us a little background?
Absolutely. This is a little teaser of our pilot, Diary of a Teenage Nobody. It's set in high school. And Andrea, do you want to tell us a little bit about all the kids and what's going on?
Yeah, pretty much this scene here, we sort of have this group of nobodies, which are sort of not the most uncool kids in school, but they're sort of these like in-betweeners that kind of don't really fit in with any sort of group. So right now, and what you're about to see, those nobodies kind of meet the mean girls in school. We'll just call them the somebodies. So it's sort of like the interaction between them.
And so it begins.
She's like Satan in human form.
No, she's like Medusa. If you stare at her long enough, you turn into stone.
How do you kill Medusa again?
By chopping off her head.
Oh.
Not it.
Well, if isn't the troll, the terrorist, the homo, and his boyfriend?
I'm not gay.
Glad to see you're all still as pathetic as you were last year. That's a really nice necklace.
Thanks.
Can I have it?
Your necklace? Take it off.
No.
Give my sister your necklace.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Miss
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Let's go, girls.
She's sorry.
She's sorry.
I hate them. Like, I actually really hate them.
Well, it could be worse. We could still be friends with them.
Thank you again for this.
Safety in numbers.
Faggot.
I hate it. I hate that word so much. It's such an awful freaking word. And seeing his face when they said it to him? It broke my heart.
Ew. Blood.
Wonderful. So maybe just very quickly, can you guys tell me your roles in the production and how you kind of came up to the project?
Yeah, I actually wrote and created it and acted in it, obviously. Yeah, and it basically was something that I created because, one, I really wanted to act and I wasn't really getting any opportunities. So I decided I'm going to create my own opportunities. And it kind of went from this really small thing that I thought I was going to film on my iPhone to kind of, as you see, like an actual production that kind of got quite the camera upgrade. So we attached Anna Elizabeth James and Katherine to produce it. And we're just really excited. You know, we have all of these followers on Facebook and stuff, and they're from 20 different countries. And the craziest thing is we actually don't even have distribution yet. We haven't even sold it. And there's this huge buzz about it. And they've actually never even seen like a second of footage. So we're all just really excited about the future of what's to come.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. And I came to the project through the director, Anna Elizabeth James. And one of the things that did attract me to this project was that there was this built-in online following for the subject matter. So we already knew that it was user-validated content in a certain way, which you don't always have as a producer walking into a project. And it was interesting with the idea of creating a web series. It's like there's this expectation that even if you're doing a web series with a fraction of the money, a fraction of the resources, it's supposed to look just as good as a broadcast television show. So that was a challenge for us, but what we discovered through the process is that it's all about bringing on the right team. And like with the right team and the people who believe in something like this, and this anti-bullying message is such a strong message that brought a lot of people on board, you can really do anything. So we were very fortunate in that respect.
Thank you. So moving down the line, we have Wynn Bates here, who is a third of the creative force behind CandyLand. Do you want to just introduce the teaser we have?
Sure. This is on. It's basically 90210 with 6-year-olds. It was kind of the premise. So Damien and Allie went to film school at USC. I went to LMU, and I met Damien, and I'd seen a teaser he had done previously, and I was like, I really like that concept. I would love to do something with that, anytime. About a year later, he hit me up and was like, hey, do you want to produce this? So we put it together. Allie and Damien were on to direct, and then I came on to direct 2 more episodes. We did 6 total. We ended up squeezing 1 into 7. So we actually have 7 episodes that we have just Locke picture on. And that's the premise. Basically, 90210 with 6-year-olds, original idea by Damien, and then Allie and I came on to kind of co-create. She wrote, I produced. Suspense. And this is just the 20-second. Maybe we should pause it. Well, yeah, so it's close to done.
Okay, and then moving down, we have Dave Ross. So from 2 websites that kind of had more kind of teen theme, can you tell us about your clip next?
Sure. Ours is, I'm in a sketch group. It's basically a sketch show, but it's only a show in the sense that we put out 2 sketches a month. So this sketch that I'll be showing, this is one of our longer sketches. Actually, generally our sketches are a little bit shorter. We put out blackout sketches, but this, I wanted to show something that sort of showcased everything we did. So, yeah.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kidnap him, slit his throat, and then throw his body in the river.
I don't think that's legal.
Boom. Boom's in shot. Dave. Boom's in shot.
No.
Still in. It's right in front of the camera. Dave.
And then throw his body in the river.
I don't think that's legal.
Boom and shot. Dave, raise it up. No, that's too high. Lower. Hold it there. Don't move it.
I don't think that's legal.
Dave, boom in the shot. It's right in front of his face.
It's like nearly touching my face.
No,
Still in the
it's
shot,
got to
Dave.
be up there.
Hey, great. What are you doing?
I don't think...
Dave. No, Dave. Can you hear me? No.
This is the worst experience in my life.
Where are you going? I'm not trying to take it from you.
Action. So what I did was, I kissed a child on the mouth.
Boom in the shot. Well, don't point at that. Nobody's in there, Dave.
In there, you are.
Turn around.
What's going on in your personal life? Is something wrong?
Where's he? Dave, come on. Don't come here.
Dave? Dave?
You belong in prison. Go to jail.
So I stole a poor person.
Dave, boom the shot. What can we do to stop you doing what you're doing?
I think we have to secure it. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's so simple. Just don't put it down in the frame.
He doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Dave, come.
Dave.
Dave, just give us 5. Just give us 5. Just give us 5 minutes, Dave. So I stole a poor person.
Wait, Dave.
Sounds great. looks bad.
So you seem to have kind of a different way of coming to web distribution, whereas other projects maybe had a story and went forward. Can you talk to your experience with coming to the online series?
Sure. Well, it actually sort of, I mean, it started because the three of us who originally started the group were stand-up comics, and we wanted some sort of like web arm of our comedy because, I mean, we were pretty new to stand-up, and you know, we're admittedly bad at it, you know? So we didn't want to just put videos of our stand-up online because that's not, we didn't want people seeing that awful stand-up, which is kind of the reason. And then, so we wanted to make it shorter. I mean, because we were stand-ups, we wanted it to sort of be, we could only really write jokes, and that's why we wrote these like little sketches, and we didn't really take it seriously. But then after about a year and a half, we were doing pretty well in stand-up and like getting better at this. So we brought a director on board. And now we've been taking it, we've been, you know, really like trying to create a good product with a consistent output. So we've come at it from that angle. And it's really interesting because all of the networking I've done has been in the stand-up community, but it seems that I'm meeting people who create web series in the middle. Because now, after doing all the stand-up and, you know, touring as a stand-up and distributing this amongst the stand-up comedy community, now we're pitching to, you know, online content distribution platforms. But we haven't made a web series yet. It's really kind of interesting. I think really all you have to do is make things, and if they're good, people will be like, yeah, but can you also do this? So now we've actually written like 3 or 4 web series that we don't have picked up yet, and we're waiting to see. So that's where I'm at.
Great. And then finally down at the end, we have Taylor Locke and Ericka Clevenger for Planet Rock with Taylor Locke.
Hello.
So can you tell us a bit about the Clippers?
Yeah. So the show is called Planet Rock, and I came to the show. I'm first and foremost a musician. I was building a home studio, and in the finishing touches of it, I decided to also make it look like something, a more visual take on building a home studio so that we can maybe shoot something in it. I'd been listening to a lot of interview podcasts and really wanted to interview fellow musicians, but I was afraid it wouldn't be interesting enough on its own. So I met Ericka, and she co-created the whole fictitious backstory. We are a sitcom about a music talk show.
It takes place in outer space, and we found ourselves being really inspired from things from our childhood, like Pee-wee's Playhouse and Wayne's World and stuff like that. He's like the modern-day Charlie Rose. So it's kind of like Wayne's World meets Pee-wee's Playhouse meets Conan O'Brien. But then we also realized that a lot of the kind of funny, comical things that were out there that people were driven to, they didn't really have any point. You know, there wasn't anything that like could be like a longevity. So we decided that let's create this fictional family that he kind of finds along the way, these kind of misfit creatures, brings them to his planet, and they're kind of like his helpers on the show. But they get in the way of things, and they kind of are creating mischief a lot. So our teaser is just like a compilation of 4 of our episodes that we have.
Look, listen, stop what you're doing. There's only one thing that you should be aware of. Taylor Locke is the king of Planet Rock. It's a television show, it's a way of life, it's a religion.
You called me, darling? I mean, Taylor. I mean, boss. I mean, master. When are we getting married?
Do you have to wear some kind of adapter for the man-to-robot action? Friction time.
Whoops.
Boss, shouldn't we be getting to the point of the show?
My mom is an astrologer, and my dad is ex-Navy.
Screw it, hang with the babes. First French kids that came in 6th grade. First girlfriend, her name was Moon Page. At the same time when I found wrestling was fake.
father was a B-movie actor who was an opium addict and had dentures. And my mother didn't have talent, but she looked good on camera, and she was part Indian. I'm not moved by anything other than an orgasm or a bowel movement. That's why I've sold 102 million records.
Are you on your 9th album? Is that what it is? 9?
Who's counting?
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, so is it that Metro?
I was backstage at Planet Rock, and that's the way I like it. I drank beer with a pterodactyl, and that's the way I like it.
Oh, the Zuki. I'm the Zuki. I come from space. Take a look at my fuzzy face. I'm Harry, live my life on the road. Never ever too loud, it's my hope.
Pants on, hands off. You know the rule.
I make the rules.
I had a feeling you were going to say something like that.
Right. Well, obviously these all these web series all have very different kind of themes and purposes. What is it about web that made your story or your project kind of go towards that form of distribution as opposed to television or film or something else? What is it about web that really made your project work?
I think for us, like I said, we have all of these fans already from all over the country, all over the world, and so I think with web, it's sort of like a quicker kind of way to get it out to many different places as opposed to sort of television distribution and kind of just having it, restricted to one place at a time. So I think for us, that was a huge thing. And then I think also because web series are sort of so new right now, there's not really a set of rules to kind of follow. So you can kind of step outside your box and try a few different new things that you might not have the freedom to do on broadcast television. So I think with us, that was sort of like one of the biggest things. It just felt like the right place for our show to go.
I mean, I don't think any of us wouldn't do television. I don't know if that was necessarily it was like, should we do TV? Should we do web? Money? No. No, I don't think that was really what happened. I mean, for us, generally, I'd say one of the main benefits of web, I think, is that our age group, our demographic, kids who grew up with cell phones sleeping next to their heads, is we watch the internet. I mean, we look at the internet. It's that's the dumbest sentence ever. We watch the internet, but I mean, that's pretty much we are web kids. So. Depending on the project, I think you do reach a larger audience using web. So there is that benefit, but I also do think that some things are just short form. Some of these things could totally go on TV, and some probably couldn't. They probably couldn't make 22 minutes or a half hour or an hour. So I think it depends on the project. For our project specifically, it was more we wanted to do something we wanted creative control over. It necessarily wasn't the newest idea in the world, so to pitch it for television wasn't really likely, but it was going to be a lot of fun, and we wanted to do it. And I still think there's an audience for it, so that's why we did web.
Sure, I mean, that's basically the same for us. It's, anyone can do it. And it's it's really a lack of patience on my part. And because if you're going to write something for TV, not only will you have to wait a long time to get it on, but there's no guarantee that it will ever show anywhere. And I just like to make things, and I want people to be able to see it. So if you're not concerned with it being your living, I mean, then it's great because it can reach literally anyone. It will be there's a platform there for anyone to use. So that's why we did it. We just wanted to make things and have people see them, and not really worry about who would tell us where it would go or what it could be.
Yeah, I think times are changing. Everyone's kind of using the web for stuff now, and when we're dealing with music, and that's a lot of online stuff. And I mean, even shows like Arrested Development. There's a bidding war between Netflix and Hulu, and that the next season is only going to be online. And there's an audience for it online. And even the web controls everything. Even studios you see are now going to Google and they're like, hey man, you type in Avatar and the first thing that pops up is Pirate Bay. How can we, change that? So.
And you don't have to ask anybody's permission. By the time our show finds its way to distribution, the tone of the show, the characters, the production, it's already found itself because we just started doing it on our own.
That's kind of fascinating what you said, Ericka, about we kind of traditionally think about film versus or television versus web, but it's increasingly becoming one and the same.
Yeah.
What would you see as the future of your series in terms of television broadcast becoming an online platform?
Well, I mean, I think it could go either way. You know, it's a music talk show from space, but it's a sitcom about a music talk show from space. So, you know, someone could come to us and they could say, you know, maybe let's cut out the music part, and, you know, the dynamic between the characters, it's a sitcom, it's a family, it can go on forever. Like, you know, season 2, the dad, Vizuko, is diagnosed with a rumor that keeps spreading because everyone keeps talking about it. You know, and there's so much family stuff in there.
I think web offers the opportunity to do like a lot of interactive elements. Like a show like that, I mean, I immediately am like, oh my god, there's so many things you can do that are just for a web release, and then you could have a total 22-minute piece for TV. It gives you a lot of opportunities to reach more eyeballs, which is like the goal, I think, always. But it also gives you an opportunity to be like, hey, this is the main thing, but then there's also this over here, and what about this? And there's a ton of way to just completely interact with your audience on these different platforms.
Yeah, and all of our episodes are around 25 to 30 minutes long, so they are full, you know, pieces.
Yeah, I think it does offer you the ability to see what are your fans interested in seeing, and then giving them that a lot sooner than broadcast television. I think, too, being able to, like, control the content is really, really important for us. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all just telling a story. And so it can be told in a ton of different formats. This just happens to be the best format for us at this time.
I think for me, because like I said, I am an actress, and I did this because I wanted to act. I know if this would have went to broadcast TV first, there's, like, pretty definite chance that, like, I would not have been in it. And so I think, like, starting off as a web series, like many of them had said, it pretty much, like, solidifies the tone of it and everything. So if in the future it were to get sent and picked up through that sort of means, I think it would be amazing, but we would all pretty much have, you know, our set core idea of what we wanted these shows to be already locked in.
You guys mentioned interactivity is one of the benefits of being on the web and distributing via the web. What kind of feedback do you guys get? Like, what kind of
you suck. Mean
Be
feedback,
funnier.
very mean feedback. Yeah.
We haven't shown complete episodes yet. We've been releasing teasers and still photos of the set, and our website is really comprehensive. It tells us the backstory of the characters in the show. So we're just trying to drum up enthusiasm and awareness of the show without actually revealing complete episodes yet.
Yeah, we're pretty much doing the same thing. So this is the first time anyone's seen any part of the pilot publicly, and we have a ton of fans that already want to see it.
It's amazing. We've kind of just sort of like given them the general idea of what it is, and it's sort of like everyone at one point has kind of felt like a nobody. They've had this like insecurity where they don't feel like they fit in with anyone. So it just blew our mind at the response that we were getting. And we have videos from people in Poland and Austria that are like sending us videos like, we want to see this so bad, hurry up and make it come out. So we have, those, we have this like nobody club of like people holding up signs, nobody should feel this, no one should feel unloved. And it's just like really powerful and really amazing social networking with web sort of stuff, because we kind of, I think that's one thing that like really keeps us going. They're so excited about it, and they haven't seen anything yet. So, it just kind of like pumps us up to move to the next level.
Well, would you ever consider taking that into the production? Like, if people give suggestions, ideas?
Definitely. And I think we do. And in the beginning, when I was sort of brainstorming how I wanted to go about this, a lot of them had written into me, and it was sort of like these issues. Ours obviously wasn't very comedic, although it does have a lot of lightness to it. But it was a lot of situations that they had actually dealt with, that they had gone with. And what I kind of realized is they sort of felt like they were the only ones going through this. They were the only ones dealing with this, when in reality, it's like so many young people deal with this sort of thing. So with us, it was sort of like taking in a few of their ideas, and ultimately we would love for the end result to kind of just create this online presence for all of these people that felt like nobodies, to kind of realize they're not alone in this, they're not the only ones dealing with this, and sort of like get motivation and inspiration from these other people their age.
Right, and through their feedback online to make sure that we're giving them what they want to see as a product. Because there's nothing worse than watching a show on broadcast TV and you're not happy with it, and they've already shot all the episodes.
Exactly.
And I think for us, the nature of our show is it could go so many ways. You know, it could end up being a PG thing, and it could end up being an R thing based on whoever did it. So we're being very careful not to put out too much stuff because, you know, say Disney or whatever, you know, is interested in it. If you have them dropping the F-bombs all over the internet, the character's already tainted, and, you know, you're just kind of cutting out so much opportunity. So just being very careful about that.
We went the opposite route. We were like, let's just cut out everyone right away. No, we were just, you know, pushing the envelope a little bit. Actually, we ended up pulling back our scripts a lot. They were like super, super edgy, and we kind of were like, this is a little too much. So we pulled it back and really played like the like melodramatic element of like, what's wrong, Cindy? You know, like that kind of. That was supposed to be melodramatic, but yeah, that kind of stuff where, you know, it's just that melodrama of 90210 with these little kids saying big words like "you made a cuckold of me" and like stuff like that, you know. So yeah, we played into that element, and I guess the feedback we've gotten from a lot of people, and we haven't released much. The teaser's the only thing that's really gone out, but it's been positive. I mean, probably like 40% of it is like the parents' kids, like signing up on fake Facebook accounts. But I mean the kids' parents, not the parents' kids, kids' parents. But yeah, no, it's been good. What I love about web, and I think the funniest thing about the web is the comments. I mean, like you see these people just get into battles, and I think it's hilarious. There's no one hides from what they really want to say. So
yeah, we have gotten so much feedback. I mean, the one of the great benefits about doing sketch on the web is that if you want to create a sketch show for TV, you have to compile like a whole group of them for a weekly or however long episode. But we just put out a sketch when we finish it, so we're putting out 2 or 3 a month, and if we didn't have day jobs and stand-up careers, then we could put out even more, you know? But so that makes it easier for people to share it as well. Just one sketch comes out. It's also short, and people have very short attention spans. So if you make something that's 30 seconds or a minute long, it's really easy for them to send it to their friend and they can watch it on their lunch break or whatever. But the feedback, I mean, the more and more we make stuff, the more and more feedback we get, and it will never be any more than 50% positive. We literally, and it's at this point, it's like, there are just so many trolls on the internet that, like, I don't take it personally. We literally had someone write under one of our sketches, "You guys have no talent for comedy," which is hilarious. This guy was just looking around the internet. Yeah, I'll watch this. No, go to hell. All 4 of these guys can die. Never met him. You can die. But then we also get a lot of, like, you know, repeat customers and subscribers to our YouTube page through just sharing. And then we've started to get, since our sketches are so short, suggestions for episodes. And we haven't made one yet, but we will. We definitely will. It's a lot of fun, especially you're making short videos. Sure, yeah. I would love to make what you think we would be. So, yeah.
Just to expand on what Ericka said, I think thinking back to some of those shows she was talking about, like Pee-wee and Wayne's World, we've been conscious of trying to make our jokes work on an adult and a kid level simultaneously. And that's one of the themes. Holy shit. What are you doing here, man?
You told me no crew could come, and then I just got on Twitter, and Terry's been tweeting that he's here.
I don't know.
Kazuki, this is a serious conference. You have
We're
to
trying
leave.
to sell our show, man. You're not helping.
Eating hamburgers, come and get me in 20 minutes. Next time you invite me.
Son of a bitch.
There's an open bar here.
Speaking of interaction.
That's Suzuki.
Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, guys. He was not supposed to be here.
There are going to be 7 6-year-olds running in here in about 2 minutes.
Get ready.
That's the problem with this web-based content. Is people are finding out in real time, and anything can happen.
So obviously, you guys all have really high production value for what you've been making. Can you describe what you're like? How did you do this? Do you have Kickstarter? Do you have Indiegogo? What kind of equipment did you use?
Well, we went out and we raised money through private investors, and we shot it on the Red Epic. And basically, we had a bunch of people who were passionate about the project, who got behind it, who pulled all the strings that they could pull, because like I said before, there is this expectation that it looks just as good as broadcast TV. And I think also it's like all of us are probably in the earlier stages of our careers developing content. We're learning, but it's like no matter where you are, you need to turn out something that's of the highest quality, because at the end of the day, if you want to succeed, you have to be a strong content maker, whether it's on the web or television, if you want to make a career out of this.
And I think with what you were saying with them having this high production value, I think that sort of has recently changed. Because I know with me, when I would tell people back home, you know, creating this web series, I'm so excited about it. They were just like, oh, okay, like a web series. And then when I brought it home recently to show them, it was pretty much like a unanimous response, like, wow, this is like a real TV show. And I just remember thinking, well, duh, I've been telling you guys that, you know? And so I feel like it's so incredible that, like, it's sort of, we're seeing it evolve into, like, you know, I think that someone else had mentioned earlier, you know, the same quality as broadcast television. I think that's it. But yeah, yeah.
We've been really lucky. Just, you know, we've kind of been dabbling in the industry in so many different ways for a while that just through our friends, most of our stuff was done pretty cheaply at a very high production value because we had people believe in us, and we've been lucky enough to, you know people that, you know, are art directors for motion, like big motion pictures, and can build the robot and build our space station. And you know, the girl that built the fuzzy costumes did it in like a week, and she's like 5 foot tall, 80 pounds. It was amazing. Like,
and in addition to that, we have just recently started talking about probably doing an Indiegogo kind of crowdfunding thing to get our first little mini season totally polished and put together so that we can shop it to people.
Yeah, we have like 4 episodes done, and the first 4 have only been musicians, but we've kind of been reached out to some other actors and stuff, well. You know, that maybe might do music, maybe not, but we're probably now going to branch out to having all sorts of people in the industry, not just musicians. So.
And one thing that might not be totally clear in the teaser is within the context of the full episode, the guest works. There's a storyline with the characters in the show, the fuzzies and the fiction of the space pod. We write each episode around the guest, who it's going to be, so that's interactive too. It's not like a totally separate thing.
We self-funded. We were going to do Kickstarter, and we did do Kickstarter, and we raised some money, but it wasn't enough, so we ended up basically just like eating ramen for a couple months and using my roommate's truck as our grip truck, and just, you know, making it happen. We were really lucky to have a really great cast who was also willing to, you know, put up like a house as a location and things like that. So we pretty much just like called in all favors. Damien's the DP. That's what he does. He has his own camera gear, so we were lucky there. He had some friends who were willing to donate their services for, you know, grip team and camera team and whatnot. I had some friends, production side, who were going to help out. Called in a favor into a first AD. And it was one of those like, I know, I'm sorry, it's the last one, but, you know, we got it done, and you know, I think we're really happy with it.
I'd say we were even more lo-fi than that, because ours is we have such a consistent and seemingly unending output that we just had to, I mean, it was all self-funded. It is all self-funded, and we have to do all the work ourselves. So, but luckily we have 4 guys who are in love with what we're doing. So we, you know, write, produce, shoot, act in all of our stuff. But also we have a fair amount of fans and a fair amount of people in the comedy community that like what we're doing, who will jump on to guest direct or help us, you know, grip or lend us equipment or stuff like that. So,
you know, you had said that it kind of has to look like broadcast, and I think that's, I agree with you on a pitching level. I feel like you go into the room and people like look at it and they're like, ah, whatever, it looks like shit. But sorry, I can't swear. Sorry. But you know, it's. I think it's totally true, and I also think it's not true. It's like one of those two things. It depends on the project, I think. If the content's good, I think it doesn't have to necessarily look fantastic, unless you're trying to go straight to TV, and then obviously it does.
Right.
But so like yours, it's about the story, it's about the comedy, which is great.
Absolutely.
It's about the characters. I did a project recently that was like Reno 911. It doesn't have to look great as long as it's funny, It's like
Sure.
And we lied and said the camera work was supposed to be as stupid as the characters. It's like,
oh yeah.
The story's got to be there.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that as well.
It's the
I
same
think
process.
depending on what your content is about, you wouldn't really need to have like this fancy set, for the one that you guys did with the boom, and yeah, I think it's all like sort of relative to the project.
Yeah, but it is amazing what you can do these days, even with just a tool like an iPhone. People really, it's like if you want to make something, you can go out there and you can make it for almost nothing. That's the amazing thing. I mean, there's no more exciting time to be a filmmaker than right now, in my opinion.
And it's like what I said, originally when I thought of Diary of a Teenage Nobody, I was going to shoot it on my iPhone. Our director, Anna, I pretty much like auditioned for her and stalked her on Facebook and was like, I think you're so cool, let's stay in contact. And so I would see all these things she would post of, things that she made on her iPhone, and it was like completely shot and edited on her phone, and it looked like the most amazing production value. So originally I thought, we're going to, I'm just going to create this web series and we'll shoot it on my iPhone and it's going to be awesome. And so I think that, yeah, like you said, there's no better time to do it. And I feel like there's no reason, if you want to act, if you want to direct, if you want to make stuff,
just do it.
Do it. You can do it on your phone. It really doesn't, it's not so much about the quality as it is the quality of the production as it is the quality of the story. And I feel like if there's heart in it, you could pretty much make anything look amazing.
Well, not with web, that's true. That's where the awesome thing is about web. It's like if you want to show something any bigger than the screen, then of course you have to use a good camera. But since, you're only watching it on something that big, then you can shoot on your iPhone, which that's amazing.
We wanted to keep the TV option open for ours too, so we got really ambitious early on. We had talked about maybe doing something on an iPhone, but as soon as we started asking friends who have nice cameras to come help us shoot, we just went further and further down that path. And so our production value kind of is what it is now, and we have to sort of try and maintain that, and it is ambitious. And I have fuzzy costumes that live in my bedroom with me.
We've sort of gotten to that, but the first year that we were making sketches, we shot everything on a flip. And none of us had a film background, so we didn't even pay attention to lighting or sound or watch some of those sketches. They look great. They look really good. They look like shit. We can say that, right? They look like shit. But now, what was great was that like I said, we had no film background, but we wanted to make things. And like she said, so we just did it. We just did it, and then after a year of making these things that were funny but looked god-awful, then we got some interest from other people, and now we can make greater things. And now it seems like maybe soon we can make a living at it. So.
Yeah, I don't want it to sound like I'm like, make it look bad. No, like obviously,
That's what
the
I
better
heard.
you can make it look, the better it's going to be. But it's never bad to have something that looks terrific. And if I don't pitch our project, I'm sure Damien and Allie will kill me a little bit. So Damien is a DP, so it's never going to look bad. He made it look amazing, and I'm super impressed. He shot like 235. It looks like super cinematic, and it's really incredible. And yeah, I mean, I think from everything I've seen up here, I'm like extremely impressed with everyone I'm sitting next to, and I think that this has been interesting. Sorry.
Well, it seems like a good time. Why don't we have some questions from the audience? Anybody have? Fred?
Any idea of overall budget, what it actually costs you to produce what you do?
I can answer that if you want. Sure. Ours would have, if we did it like by the numbers, like we didn't call in tons of favors, it probably would have been like $75,000. We shot 9 days in Los Angeles with 40 to 60 people on set every day, studio teachers, the whole nine. So it was like very big shoot.
So what did it actually
Uh,
That I can't say, but it would have, but it was significantly less. Yeah.
Every sketch we shoot costs in the realm of one pizza. That's it. That's all.
Just one?
Just one. Sometimes two.
I would definitely work for pizza, for sure.
Yep.
For sure, just so you know.
Pizza's great. No, I mean, honestly, we borrow, well, we either own or borrow all of our equipment, and we shoot it all digitally. So I really couldn't tell you. We just do all the work ourselves. If we were to farm it out or use other people's equipment, each sketch would probably cost a few grand. That's what I would imagine.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of our stuff, they were one-time expense, paid for the fuzzy costumes, paid for the set, paid for the robot. and then just kind of favors. And at first it was more expensive and we had more people, but as we got along, I mean, now we're shooting these things super quick with the guests and everything in and out in under 2 hours. We edit a couple of days later and it's done. So,
most of our initial investment was pre-production stuff, getting the costumes and all that. The actual per episode budget is very low now.
And then you get a lot of production value because the artists want to have promotion as well, I assume.
That's right.
Correct, yeah.
So it's
I mean, like Asher Roth, the rap artist we had, he had this big song, and I mean, he has 500,000 followers on Twitter and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, he comes and does one of our shows. It's like free promotion by having these artists and musicians come. So it's awesome.
I'm curious, obviously, Taylor and Ericka, one of the ways you're getting people to know about your show is because of the artists having a big following, whatever, which is great. I'm curious about how everyone else, and you two have got something else to add, how you're getting people spreading the word about your show, generating interest in it, getting eyeballs on the show, or promos for the show if it's not aired yet.
Well, for us, all the members of my group we do a lot of like cross promoting within what we're doing. Like there are 4 of us. We each have between 5,000 and 10,000 followers on Twitter, and that just comes from like diligently working on our own comedy. And so and then I co-host a podcast that has a bunch of listeners, and I also have a live show in town that a fair amount of people come to each week. And it's sort of like, I didn't intend to do this, but it's sort of like a promotion engine. It promotes within itself. I go out and do stand-up, people see that, they look me up, they see my videos, or someone sees a video, they go do the stand-up, and it just keeps building on itself. So I don't really have a great answer for that, except like it's exposure, putting yourself out there as much as you possibly can in every single forum. Because people who like to watch things on the internet also like to listen to things on the internet and then go see those things in real life, So as much of that as possible.
Yeah, I think with us it's a lot of social networking and social media and sort of Twitter. I have a lot of, fortunate enough to have like a lot of followers on Twitter that are interested in things that I do. And so I think kind of involving them and sort of having them feel like, and it's an honest answer that I'm trying to give them a voice for sort of how they're feeling. I think kind of connects them to the material a little bit more. Right. And through that, telling their friends there's tens of thousands of people on it. And so, if they just tell 2 other people, it sort of is this exposure that we're really excited about, and we can't wait for them to actually see the show.
Right. When you have a message that you're sending, that really helps. But for us, it's Andrea's the social media guru. So it's her Twitter followers, a Facebook page, our website, and it's just one person leads to another person.
I think there's just little things you could do to kind of involve them in. Like we were saying, like the nobody pictures, and it's sort of like they post that, and their friends are like, "What's that? What are you doing that for?" I want my thing to be on that Facebook, and so it's sort of like is word of mouth through the internet that way, and kind of involving them like that.
We used Postmail. We sent out letters. No, I'm just kidding. We did the same thing. We had Twitter, Facebook, the whole social media move. We still haven't launched, so we're basically packaging it now, seeing if we can get somebody to sponsor it or buy it, and if they don't, then we'll just release it on our own website. For me, it's always been like, do we do the YouTube channel or do we do our website plus use YouTube? So that's like in terms of where to release it. But yeah, in terms of our audience, it's the same thing everyone else here has mentioned. Mm-hmm. Just hoping people like it and pass it on to their friends, and constantly sending out notifications and updating our Facebook page.
Yeah, Dave, you got to stay active.
Maybe I missed something. Dave, your show is called Women?
Yeah.
I didn't see any women, and we're talking about women. Why is it called Women?
For those reasons. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm sorry. I think it's hilarious that we're called women, and that's it. Has nothing to do with the women. Nothing at all. There are no women in it. The reason is this. I think gender roles are dumb, and I also think it's funny that that labels are put on people. And so we named our group that's all men, women, and that's really all there is to it. I wish I had a better answer.
Do you consider man a label? Do you prefer not to be called a man?
I am not a man. I will never be one. I can't do it. I've tried my whole life.
Okay, one more question in front.
That was my question.
Oh, there you go.
Am I a man?
What do we
small
got
boy.
back here? What is?
Oh, yeah. Question back.
John Apatow of Hollywood, how are you doing?
Oh God.
I just want to get back to the question of budgets. Taylor and Ericka, I was curious how much you paid for that beautiful pterodactyl. Correct.
Yeah. He thinks we don't know that it's him.
Would you like to hire him? I think he's gorgeous.
We know that's you, Pater.
Yeah, we know. It's the mustache isn't working. I mean,
Look, sir, I just showed up because I'm very concerned about this whole thing. I'm a stage manager, and I just don't feel comfortable with you on stage. I haven't even looked up at all the technical specs yet. I'm sorry.
he usually looks up. Yeah, he's a good. All right. That's Pateri. He's the stage manager at Planet Rock.
Well, thank you very much to our panelists.
Thank you.